On the great seas of Ark, you have to be able to move your army at a moment's notice in simplicity and efficiency. And there's only one vessel on these seas that will do it for my crew. The Ark Carrier! Next, on Architecture! So like normal, let's go ahead and see what you need for this build.
For this build, you are going to want 32 stone foundations. Surrounding those, you will need 16 S+ large stone walls. You will want 6 giant stone hatch frames, 1 S+ sloped stone hatch frame. You will want 6 giant reinforced trapdoors plus 1 S+ trapdoor. Additionally, you will also need 2 sloped wood walls left facing, 4 sloped wooden roofs. You will need 5 S+ double door frames, and then you will need the equipment to build this with: 4 thatched ceilings, a wooden pillar, a wooden fence foundation. For alignment, you personally may want a wooden fence foundation, and then you will want basic gear to stow in this boat: a smithy, feeding trough, a storage box for respawn. You will also need 4 wooden ramps to conveniently access the boat. I recommend 2 simple beds, and then your preference. You will have a few precious structures available, such as a preservation bill or campfire, but don't anticipate going too crazy on this. You will go very close to structure limit on this build.
Okay, let's start building this. As mentioned, I've got my raft in the water already, so I'm going to start with the normal equipment of the fence foundation. And then I'm going to grab a pillar. And then I'm going to go ahead and start with about as many foundations as I can use. Now my weight is pretty substantial. This may be something you need to make a few trips on. Whatever works for you, works for you. And then you will also need the thatched ceilings, as I believe we should be able to get to that as well. Alright. Now, contrary to some of my prior builds, this is going to be not a 3x3 center, this is going to be a 4x4 center build. So we're going to start off with, instead of putting the wood fence foundation center on the raft, we need to put it along the edge. We're still going to use the cross beam as our level line, so to speak, but we're going to try to get it as centered according to the mast hole as possible. I'm going to do a look for safety. I'm actually satisfied and good with that. Drop the pillar in, get my foundations ready. From here, it's a similar build. We're going to go ahead and drop the foundations in around it. When you're done placing those, you will have a standard 8x4 foundation, just in a standard square. This is going to be a big boat, but this is why you're building it. You want a carrier This is a simple way of doing it. May not be the prettiest thing, but it will do the job and it will do it well with honor. Once you've got the foundation built, go to the rear of the raft, grab those 4 ramps, and we are going to go ahead and just put all 4 right along the rear. Alright. Once you've got your actual foundation floor made up, you're probably going to want to bring at least one of your animals on here, and I like the Triceratops because you can stand on top of them. And as we're going to start very quickly working with the second floor level of structures, being able to stand on top of your dino to work on them really helps out. We're going to go ahead then and grab at least 8 of the S Plus large stone walls. Those are the ones that are 6 high. And along the starboard side of the boat, we're going to go ahead and just put those right down the line. Once you've gotten the entire starboard side done, you can go ahead and put in 4 on the port side, but you are going to want to stop when you get halfway. We'll go over that in just a minute. Let me get a couple of pieces here from Trucker. And you are going to want to go ahead and put those 4 that you are putting in towards the starboard side front. 2, 3, 4. Once you've got the starboard side front made, we're going to go ahead and start putting in some of the framework we will need to build the ramp upwards. So that's going to be the sloped wooden roofs and the sloped wall. So, down center line of the boat is where you're going to build your ramp, and for obvious reasons you want it pointing inward. And then I like making use of the double door frames because it counts as a wall, but you have all of the walk-through. Go ahead and then grab the one up above. This will act as the building structure line for you to be putting the sloped roofs on, but do not put them on yet. This is another one of those parts where the order of putting them on counts. Now, you're going to want to grab 4 more, and this is very important. Of the double door frames for this next part, you need to have the smooth side, the cut side, facing forward. That will affect your placement of the sloped hatch frame. So when you want to make sure that on the base of these you do see the smooth side pointing forward, and then you're going to do a 2 high build. Once you have the 2 high build, go ahead and get your sloped frame, and you should have that. That is the simplest way I've ever seen those things go in. Go ahead and get your 4 sloped roofs. We are using sloped roofs, not ramps. Once you've built the walls to this point, and once you've built the ramp up to this point, you may feel free to remove the 2 walls that were over here. That will free up more structures. You simply need to have, you've got to have 4 to build it, but you only need 2 to keep it. And this is a build in which you will be using your structures up pretty much the fullest degree. This is also the one place in the build where you put an S plus frame because you need it for the angle. Now when you come up here for the first time though, I highly encourage you to switch it to manual for that exact reason. got to get close enough to access it without running on top of it. Walk over gently. To the side is usually about the best. Switch to manual. Close it up. Now you can climb up here and stand. Now, for reference, that is actually going to be the hardest part of that build behind us. From here, we're just going to be laying down the rest of these vanilla hatch frames and door frames. Or the hatch frames and the actual trapdoors. So we'll go ahead and stretch this out again. Alright, we are on the finishing touches here. Go ahead and grab the last few stone walls you have. Now that the ramp's built, just get these in. I'm going to go ahead and grab the gateways. Now the trick with the gateways is we want to get them obviously centered on the right and the left side of the ship, 2 spaces as possible. This is something that you probably want to play on the eye. Now this is something also that at the front of the ship you can get the gates all the way to the edge, and you're going to want to take a look at that center line between the 2 foundations and try to match up the center line of the gate you're placing as much as you can. And once you've gotten it to your satisfaction, go ahead and drop her in. Like that. So come on over, and then you repeat history with the second one. You should have your distance about right, so it's just a matter of settling it in. Alright. Once you've got the gateways up, you're going to grab obviously the gates themselves. And then the third one, I throw back right here. Now you're not going to be able to make it go all the way. You've got to put it back 1 foundation. Never bothered me too much. That's how it's built. Now, if all you need is a dino transporter, you're done. And you're pretty thick on structures as is. But you know me, I like to set up any kind of a vessel to have a few of the basics, which to me is at least a bed, a feeding trough, basic storage. You do have enough room for campfire, a respawn box. I'll go ahead and show that. If you want to go all out with the preservation bin, again, your boat, your preferences. You've got a couple of structures to play with here, but listen to me when I say couple. You are pretty close on cap here. Now, since this is going to be a dino hauler, it's always important to me to try to put things in as close a space as possible. So let me show you what my recommendation for putting these things in an efficient format. Since I've got this space right here that big dinos really aren't going to use, I like to kind of tuck in here. And since I'm tucking in here, we'll tuck it into the corner and into the corner as much as I can. Feeding trough. Drop a smithy in, back up a little bit to do it. Alright. See if we can get our beds in here. We're going to need to back up just a little bit. Oh wait, nope, I remember. Beds for some reason don't like this. Here, let me get uncrouched. There we are, that's part of it. Bring that in, there we are. And I always like to grab a second bed, just in case I'm really having bad luck of dying. And the hand dandy. No, I don't care about my map. Push the wrong button. See, I knew it'd fit in here. And your respawn box. Now you will notice that I have started with where I think most people will be when they build this thing, with the standard wood front. You can absolutely drive this thing with the wood front. I'll show you that right now. And then what we're doing is getting yourself turned up. Obviously up above here, we've got the great and mighty T-Rex. And the carrier becomes essentially Rex's surfboard, and I think that's absolutely awesome. Spin on down here and I'll show you how many animals we can actually store down below. So we've got my pair of Ankies, Flint and Spark. We've got my Stoner. We've got my Stag. We've got my Beaver, JB. And we've got my pair of birds. We've got Phoenix, Quicksilver. And then we've got Trucker. And as you can tell, we've got room to spare. So if you need to be able to move your entire base animals, invasion fleet, construction crew, whatever you want to call it, the carrier will do the job for you, simply, quickly, and efficiently. One last upgrade that you may want to consider, and I do intend this as a down-the-road upgrade once you've got the materials, unless you amazingly have it when you're building this first time through. Go ahead and pick up the actual gates themselves, and then if you were to replace them with S+'s glass, needless to say, you get a much better visibility bonus. If you can handle navigation from the case, you're going to be fine as well, whatever your preference is. So if this helped you out, or if at least made you smile, leave a like and subscribe. I drop videos like this every week. To learn more, that's what the Commander Crew favorites are for, and that's also what the architecture list is for. If you've already watched all of those, I've got something special just for you. I'm Commander Tom, and I will see you next time.